Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. My name is Ruru and I am a TV holic. And today we're going to be doing it's just me because I told Mimi not to watch this K-drama. I watched it a few years ago when I first started to get into Korean TV shows and stuff. But I didn't think this was all that great because it was kind of like the storyline was kind of really unbelievable because it is a sci-fi and we both like sci-fi shows, but it was just like too far out there for me, and the math wasn't mathing in a lot of the parts, but it's still a good show. I really enjoyed watching it, but I don't really think that me and her she needs to watch it and we need to recap it together. So that's why I thought I'd do it by myself. And I didn't want Mimi to, watch it because we've got a lot of other shows coming up and we're both kind of pressed for time. But I had a few minutes, so I thought, let me just record this podcast episode because it is a show that I have watched before. I know it was like quite a while ago for me, like a couple of years ago, I said, but I wanted to just recap it and tell you guys my thoughts about it. And like I said, I did enjoy it, but not enough to make, Mimi do it and watch it and us both do an episode on it together. So before I get started, I just want to tell you guys, if you haven't already, press the little follow button somewhere on your page while you're listening to this podcast. And also, if you wouldn't mind giving us a 5-star review, that would be so, so helpful because although we're getting quite a lot of views and not views, listens, downloads and all that, not a lot of people are rating the podcast, and it would be so, so helpful if you guys could do that because we'd really appreciate it. And we'd know that you guys like this content. If you like the K-drama stuff, if you like the Korean reality TV show stuff, Korean variety show stuff, and also Japanese shows that we're going to be doing. We did do one Japanese reality TV show. We have a few more coming up, hopefully. I don't know about soon because we both keep getting sick one after the other. I'm just recovering a bit right now and Mimi's sick again. So we're going back and forth with this illness situation. But yeah, if you guys could help us out by giving us some reviews, that would be so, so helpful. 5 stars. And just write a few nice things about the podcast that you like. And if you want us to, if you have any requests for us, please comment and let us know what you guys want us to podcast about. We're also on social media platforms too, all the regular ones: Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter, YouTube. So follow us on there as well. You can also listen to the podcast on YouTube as well. So I'm just going to get into it because I am kind of going in and out of losing my voice. So please bear with me. Let me take a sip of water. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, I don't know if you heard me do that big gulp. I tried to down it really quickly. Anyway, so this episode's basically about the K-drama My Love from the Star, and it's also known in some places as You Who Came from the Stars. So this particular K-drama, I watched it a while ago, like I said, so I did go back, have a look at it, briefly look through clips of it, and also make my own notes. And then I did look up other stuff about gossip and drama and production and stuff like that. So yeah. So it was it was created and released in 2013 or 2014 in South Korea, and it's basically a fantasy romance kind of show. And apparently it did really well worldwide. And I'm guessing mostly in Asian countries. And basically it's a story about Do Min-joon an alien who landed on Earth in, I believe, 1609 and has lived through like 400 years of like Korean history. And only basically he ends up basically like falling in love with one of the top actresses in Korea, and Song-yi. I think I'm saying that right. Sorry, it's hard for me to say the names right because I know the romanization of the names is always like a bit off. So if I'm saying the name wrong, it's because the romanization is wrong, and I'm really sorry about that. I'm not trying to like butcher any names. Um, and also, I would have been able to pronounce the name right if I'd watched the show like recently, because you know they repeat the name like a million times on the show. And I do watch all the K-dramas. Me and Mimi both watch all the K-dramas that we watch in Korean with subtitles, so we'd definitely be able to pronounce the names of characters in K-dramas if we had watched them recently. So yeah, so he falls in love with this like top Korean actress, Song-yi, Ji-yi, I think, and just like 3 months before he's like supposed to like return back to his home planet because there's an opening for him to return back. That's all part of the like, story. So basically, it's like a mixture of like modern day like action and stuff from like the Joseon era, and like you get flashbacks of like, I love it when they show like, flashbacks of the old Korea, like the past in Korea. It's quite interesting because we obviously, being from the West, like we don't have like a concept of what like Korean history is like because we didn't learn that in our schools. Like I went to a school in England and we just learnt about British history and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really fascinating to me. So yeah, you get flashbacks of the Joseon era, and basically it just explains like Min-joon's past. So I just want to break it down like a few episodes at a time. So episode 1 to 4, let's talk about all this stuff. So it's basically like how they meet, and it's like fate and stuff like that. I think that's my interpretation of it. So Min-joon prepares for his like, he's preparing for his like departure after 400 years, and he meets his new neighbor. So they live in like this high rise, and like I think they're like both got penthouse suites like next door to each other. And he meets his new neighbor, and basically it's she's very like blunt and ignorant, and she's a like movie star in Korea. And her name is Song Y I don't know how to pronounce that, Yi, who is like a reincarnation, or basically looks like the girl he saved and loved in like back in 1609, when he first got to, landed on this planet in Korea. And he's kind of like taken aback by that situation because she looks exactly like her. And this is a running theme I've noticed in sci-fi shows in Korean TV. They always like have a reincarnated girl. Like I've seen it in three other shows as well. The female lead is always like a reincarnation of like the male lead's previous love from another like era. So like she's been reincarnated to be with him again. It's kind of like really like, well, like I like it, but also it's kind of like you can't do the same thing in every K-drama. Like you have to change it up. But still, I find myself liking it because it's very like, it's like fate and meant to be and stuff. And I think K-dramas are all about that. They're all about like fate and how people are like meant to be, and like they find each other in like different lifetimes and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm digressing. So Min-joon basically saves this like young girl who is his neighbor. But not young, she's young to him because he's like very, very old. I think he's like about 600 years old or something like that. and from basically he saves her from a car accident 12 years prior. And this is like a moment she has like never forgotten, so she remembers that. And then there's like a pre-mentioned basically Min-joon is like, oh, okay, sorry, I got all confused here. Basically a promotion leads to Min-joon and I'm tongue-tied, I'm really sorry. A promotion leads Min-joon to a party cruise where actress Hayura dies, and Song-yi is like falsely blamed for Yura's suicide, but it's not a suicide. But I think we find that let out later on, and by the public, and it's causing like her career to crash and everything. It's like it's like a snowball effect for her career. So it's like tanking her career because everyone thinks that she killed this other actress. And then episode 5 to 10 is basically like about the scandal and suspicion. So there's like reporters swarming Song-yi's home, forcing her to like hide in Min-joon's apartment, and they grow closer as he like basically reluctantly becomes her manager because like of circumstances. And I think it's really interesting that like because he's like hundreds of years older than her, like he's like, oh my God, she's a child and stuff like that. But really, in if they were to meet in real life, like the way he looks and the way she looks, she's older than him, and that's what she thought in the first place. But he's like, no, I'm older than you, and he's very like strict about that. And then basically the real like villain is kind of like revealed, which is Lee Jae-kyung, and he's revealed to have like basically murdered Yura to hide their secret like relationship because she was basically pregnant. Can't remember if he knew that she was pregnant or not. And then Yura also was basically, I think, bullying Song-yi at the time as well. So that's why people suspected her as well, because they had a few run-ins in public, like I think in a hairdressing salon or something like that, or some other kind of like restaurant as well. So that's why a lot of people suspected that she was like caused her to commit suicide. And then the murderer also begins like targeting Song-yi because she has a USB drive containing evidence of his crimes, basically. And then Min-joon, Min-joon, and Song-yi basically share their first kiss because they share their first kiss, and because he's an alien and human saliva makes him like dangerously ill, so he gets really, really sick, and he's never got sick before. So that's like an interesting, development. And then episode 11 to 15 is like basically high stakes and like people finding out about each other's identities and stuff like that. So Min-joon basically reveals his alien identity to Song-yi to protect her and scare her away, but she accepts him regardless of his like origins not being from planet Earth, basically. And then Jae-kyung discovers that Min-joon's weakness basically is like human saliva and stuff like that, and that his powers fail if he's physically like compromised, and he attempts to frame him for like various different crimes. And then let's jump to episode 16 to 21, and this is like basically the final like part of the K-drama. So Min-joon's health begins to fall as he departs, as his like departure date like comes closer, and he basically has to basically choose between staying on Earth and dying or returning to his planet to survive. And Hee-kyung, um, the second male lead, basically discovers his brother Jae-kyung's psychopathic nature and helps Min-joon bring him to justice, which is like interesting because his brother was always scaring him and bullying him and like really like, psychotic, and he always knew there was something odd about him. And then the ending basically is Min-joon disappears during a meteor shower, but finds a way to wrap back to Earth, like find his way back to Earth somehow, for short periods, and eventually spending more and more time with Sung-gi. So basically, they have kids and everything like that, and like we see that, and him popping in and popping out. He can pop into Earth and pop out of Earth, so he's back to his home planet and then back to Earth, and he's with his kids and his wife and stuff like that. So it's nice. And then at the end, yeah. So before that, he was like, she was on like this red carpet because she's got her life back and everything, and she's a star again. And he popped onto the red carpet, and everyone was like shocked and everything like that. And I thought that was like interesting, but they didn't really, they just, like all TV shows, K-dramas, like, Western TV shows too, like they wrapped it up too quick. They could have like, dragged it on for longer. They could have like, made multiple seasons out of it. I just feel like it was just cut short really like quick, and that really annoyed me. But I just want to talk about like a few of the themes on the show, like the the pivotal moments and stuff like that. There was a 15-second like challenge that Song-yi challenges Min-joon to see like her as a woman in 15 seconds, leading to the romantic breakthrough basically. And then they had like a frozen in time kiss, and Min-joon like frequently stops like time to express his feelings or kiss Song-yi without her knowing, which I thought was a bit creepy and weird. But like there's no consent there. It's not cool. But obviously a lot of people thought it was cool. Not cool, like okay, because like it did so well, this show. And then like there was a rooftop confrontation, and that was between Jae-kyung and Min-joon, and that's been when Jae-kyung basically tries to kill Min-joon. But Min-joon used his powers to like reveal himself and basically get away from the villain. And then I just want to chat a little bit about the gossip and controversy about this show. So while the show itself, I think was like a massive success, the lead actors and the production had faced like various like different gossip scandals over the years. So the guy that played Do Min-joon, Kim Soo-hyun, he had like dating life like scandals. So in 2025, there was like recent like alleged there was a recent viral alleged like past relationship with the late actress Kim Saron, when she was a minor, and his agency, gold medalist, denied the claims, and they basically stated that they dated briefly and she was an adult in 2019 to 2020. But that's been like widely disputed over the internet, and a lot of people think that he kind of like dated her when she was a child and like a minor, and he messed with her mind, and it all caused her to unalive herself. And then there's also financial disputes, and the controversy led to like multiple brands like withdrawing endorsements and filing lawsuits for brand damages because they don't want to be associated with these scandals. And then other stuff like production and cast. An Jae-hyun, Song-yi's brother, he saw a huge surge in popularity from the show, but he later faced a very public and messy divorce from the actress Kyo-hyun in 2019. So that was like another scandal. And then plagiarism accusation there was. So the writer Park Yi-eun was accused by another author, Kang-hyun, of plagiarizing her comic Seol-hee, which also featured an alien living through 400 years of Korean history. The lawsuit was basically dropped at the end, and there was like a private settlement reached. But I think that's like nasty if like they did steal that whole thing from like a small author without giving her credit and without, paying her for it. Like if they just stole the whole idea, that's crazy, and she deserves credit and she deserves to tell her story and get it out there. And yeah, that's just they're all my thoughts. I know the biggest scandal was basically the guy that played Min-joon, Kim Soo-hyun. Hopefully I'm saying all these names right. I know, like I said before, the romanization is wrong, and that's why I'm not able to pronounce these names right, like I should be. But yeah, so I enjoyed the show in all. I was really disturbed when I found out about like the accusations of like that poor actress, unaliving herself potentially because of the main lead guy in this show. I also found this main lead guy to be kind of like annoying and arrogant and on the show itself, and I felt like he thinks a lot of himself, not just the way he was acting, but like his demeanor. I think that he just thinks like he's a lot hotter than he is, because I don't find him like appealing in any way, attractive or anything, but I think he, was bigging himself up in his head and thinks he's all that. I was just getting those vibes. I don't know if anyone else is getting those vibes. I don't know if you all enjoyed this show or not, or if you've seen it or not. I would say it's worth the watch, but not if you're not into sci-fi and not if you're not into extremely unrealistic moments. If you just want to watch it for the comedy, the romance, the drama of it all, then I do suggest watching it. I would give it like a 5 out of 10, just because like I said that it had like loads of things that were like lacking, and it was pretty unrealistic, but I do think that it's worth the watch because they did make it, like entertaining. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Like I said before, share this podcast with any of your friends and family that like K-dramas, and we're going to have a lot more other stuff coming up pretty soon. Hopefully, we're going to be announcing some big stuff in a few weeks' time, so stay tuned for that. And we're going to have a lot more shows, so we're going to have some current shows coming up, some Korean variety TV shows, and some other reality TV shows, and some more scripted Korean stuff as well. Maybe some Japanese stuff coming up too as well, probably reality TV only for now. And we are going to try and watch some C-dramas and some Chinese reality TV and variety shows too, because they look really interesting. Like I've heard a lot about that stuff, and I really want to start to get into some Chinese shows because I think it's going to be really, really good. And I can't wait to recap and review them for you guys and let you know my thoughts. And Mimi will be back soon as well. Please wish her a speedy recovery because she's got a stomach bug, and she's pretty sick, and I hope she gets better soon so she can join us on the podcast. And, for her general health and well-being, I want her to be good. So yeah, like, share, subscribe. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. And follow this podcast. It's so important that you guys follow so that you know what's coming out next, because we're going to be dropping a lot of stuff and we don't want you to miss out on anything, okay? Don't miss out on a thing because we've got so much coming up, like I said. So see you soon. Bye. Hopefully with Mimi.